Okay. Thank you. We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thịnh, vì thứ pháp hồi cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngọ mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đắc lạc tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Su Chế Đô Ye Ơ La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đát Ya La Hơ Đi Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tòa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, the 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jingliang, Great Master YongHua, all monks and nuns and all good advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Kiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 10th of June 2022. Thank you all for coming to our prologue discussion of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are right now on door number 2, slide number 6. Door number 2 is about stores and teachings containing it. Let's continue, shall we? Okay, first of all, it's nice to be back here, and thank you all for coming. We've been busy going to places, and we don't forget that this is where we started, in Northern California. So we happy to be here again to continue exploring this wonderful teaching, one of the most profound, if not the most profound teachings in Buddhism, profound wisdom, if you will. And so we are looking at the overview that's written by Master Jingliang, Great Master Jingliang, who is a specialist in this particular Buddhist teaching, the Flower Adornment Sutra. And he's talking about his door number 2, Vinaya store. So we talked about the various stores, the 3 stores in Buddhism. And so this is right now, number 6 is discussing Vinaya store. Vinaya store is not given enough credit for its importance because few people understand it, and few monks and nuns spend time exploring the Vinaya store anymore. Okay, why is it important? This Vinaya store, Vinaya means extinction, eradication. What does it eradicate? It enables us by this teaching to eradicate our karmic errors. Buddhism, as the sages taught us, Buddhism is about learning what not to do, what to do, what the right things are to do. But before we have a chance to do the right things, you ought to learn first about what not to do. What does it mean, what not to do? What not to do means that you avoid making mistakes. The reason we're suffering, the reason we are here in this higher world enduring so much suffering and so many hardships is because we make mistakes. We continue to make mistakes, and we made so many mistakes in the past. And we've been wandering in the wheel reincarnation because of the mistakes you made. We made so many mistakes, and now we are here in the sour world again in order to repay our karmic debts. Karmic debts is another word for the debts you incurred by making mistakes. Okay? So here is karmic errors. So we eradicate karmic errors, meaning that through this Vinaya teaching, if you follow the instruction, you follow this knowledge, and you apply this knowledge in your daily life, you will begin to put an end to your karmic errors. Okay? Again, the concept is because you keep on making mistakes, you have to come back here and pay off your debts. Okay? If you stop making mistakes, then you have a chance to get out of these vicious cycles of existence. Okay? So this is very important. So this Vinaya here is this ingenious teaching of wisdom that the Buddha sees, and he can, thank you very much, and he can see that why we here, why we suffer so much, okay? Why, when worldly people, when they suffer, they run away from it. They run away from suffering and say, no, this is too hard. I'm not going to look at the suffering. This is too much to take. It's too hard to take, okay? Whereas, and so they go, and so they have blind spots, and they don't fix the mistakes. We don't fix our mistakes we made. Okay, and our parents, who are basically our role models, reinforce the mistake they made in their lives and turn us into their minions. Okay, making similar kinds of mistakes. Sounds familiar? And so that because of these karmic errors, we keep on coming back here to the sour world to pay off our debts. When you have debts, you have to pay them off. You cannot run away. Okay, so Vinaya says, Vinaya store here is the Buddhist teaching, very specialized Buddhist teaching, which as I said, unfortunately, most monks and nuns don't understand anymore. Because monks and nuns, when we have so much to learn, and Vinaya is something about avoiding mistakes. So how does it help pay for the mortgage? How does it pay for our transportation costs, our clothing, our food, and so forth? It really doesn't, because it's basically for us, not for you. So that's why fundamentally, in the Dharma ending age, the monks and nuns don't study Vinaya anymore. And yet Vinaya is the foundation, because remember, if you do not find a way to stop making mistakes, these vicious cycles will never end. Okay, so that's what it is. Eradicate karmic errors. Stop it. Don't screw up anymore. And also, it also eradicates afflictions. Afflictions are, what are afflictions? Afflictions are self. What? Someone help you out? What self what? What do you have in mind when you see afflictions? Self torture, self torment. You torment yourself, and yet you blame on others. You blame on your wife, you blame on your children, you blame it on your monks, you blame it on your neighbors, and so forth. Okay? So you learn through this Vinaya store to stop, to eradicate your afflictions, meaning that you don't agitate yourself anymore. Remember, fundamentally, agitation, you get agitated, you get afflicted because you choose to be afflicted, because you choose to be agitated. No one asks you to be agitated. You're just being yourself. Yet, I'm afflicted by that. Sounds familiar? Your beloved wife. What happened to your beloved wives here? Okay. This is being the lovely selves. And somehow we feel that they figure out how to agitate us so easily. Sounds familiar? not funny. Okay, sorry. So eradicate afflictions. We learn Vinaya here. You will, if you understand Vinaya, you apply Vinaya, you act Vinayas are clues for you to put an end to your afflictions, if you will. Okay? And when you do all those, you eradicate karmic errors, you put an end to your afflictions, you have a chance. Okay? Those are the foundation for you to attain the fruit of Nirvana. What's Nirvana? Nirvana is eternal happiness. Nirvana is total end of suffering. Nirvana is every day, every night is a happy day, is a happy night. Nirvana is not somewhere else. Nirvana is right here. Okay? That's why we teach you about Nirvana. We ask you to join Nirvana, to enter Nirvana, because it's right now. You can enjoy Nirvana. It's not something that you have to wait until you die. Okay? You back to Chicago before you can enter Nirvana. You can enter Nirvana anywhere. Make sense? That's why it's useful. Go ahead, JMT.
헬로 마스터. 그 집에서 사리가 발견이 됐는데 처음에 2개는 사리인지 모르고 제가 버렸거든요. 그래서 이걸 어떻게 참여해야 되는지 그 참여 방법 질문드립니다. 감사합니다.
Master, I found 2 sharila at home, but I didn't know that it was a sharila, so I just threw away. So I want to repent about that. How can I repent?
That's called a karmic error. Because a karmic error, you will fall into the animal realm. So, I'm not sure I can help. Shall we try 10 Ave Marias? What happened, Daniel? What do the Catholics do when they make a big boo-boo? Huh? Suppose you Catholics, for example, Daniel, throw away images of your God or your Jesus. What do? Is that sacrilegious? Anyway, how come you have shariras, huh? Jumi? That's weird. Okay. For karmic retribution, for throwing away Buddha's relics, shariras, we have to talk to the old monk here. Okay. He'll have to advise you privately on what to do. Okay. Hopefully, the rest of you don't make that kind of mistake. Okay. All right. Of course, there are ways to fix it. Don't worry. Okay. Just stop throwing relics away. Okay. Any other questions? Next question.
같은 질문인데, 그러니까 살인지를 몰라서 그냥 김에 들어있는 제습제인 줄 알고 버려가지고, 그러니까 제 2번째 질문은 이게 살인지를 모르고 어리석음으로 인해서 한 거니까 이걸 어떻게 참여해야 되는지 제가 알면 안 버렸거든요.
I didn't know that it was a sharila. Because of my stupidity, I threw it away. If I know that it was a sharila, I should not do it.
I heard of a story about shariras. There was a Vietnamese monk in Seattle. He really didn't believe in shariras. But they gave him some shrira, so he kept there, and his disciples, his novice disciple, who were a little bit off kilter, okay, a little bit off. That's how many people shave their heads. That's why, okay? Unfortunately for us, okay? So this guy here couldn't survive out there, so we joined the temple and he shaved his head. And this monk is so desperate, so okay, I take you anyway. At least, having someone is better than no one at all. Even if that one is less than 100%. Okay, that's how it is with us. So the guy is a little bit, the novice is a little bit crazy, a little bit off. So, and the monk says, these are some shariras here, don't touch them, don't. So one day the guy went crazy, and he took the big shariras, actually they're pretty big pieces, and put it in the toilet and flushed it. And he came back and said, Master, I need to admit to you, I did you a favor. I said, those things are pretty evil, so I flushed them out of in a toilet for you. Okay? Make sure it goes away the way it belongs, And then the monk went berserk and said, how could you? Those are shariras, those are priceless. For a temple to have shariras, we have, that takes a lot of blessings. You don't throw the shariras away. And, guess what? The ladies threw the shariras away from her family and her household. Anyway, so he said, which toilet do you use? So the guy said, oh, your toilet. So the monk ran into the toilet, okay, and looked at the toilet, and sure enough, what happened? Shariras floating. Didn't get flushed away. Amazing? So sometimes shariras are magical, really, really, really interesting. Anyway, maybe if Jumi's husband still has blessings, the shariras will come back. Pressure on him now. Do you believe? Okay, go ahead. Was there a question? You too. Go ahead.
From Kenix, Master, can the medicine Master Buddha plaque blessing recover the beneficiary's precept substance when he or she violates precepts?
Sometimes it can. If you were to do it yourself, it won't. Okay, so number 3, this...
One more question.
YouTube still has a question. Go ahead.
From Goat Force Daniel, Master, please tell us what is the purpose of the lay precept against sexual misconduct. Is it about control of our sexual urges or loyalty to our significant other? This is the precept I do not understand clearly and have more issues with.
That's supposed to be hard, especially for modern times. If meant for you to, there's lots of reasons, and if you practice them, when you observe them strictly, then I can explain to you more. You don't observe them strictly, it's not something I can discuss publicly, because we're not allowed to discuss these things in public. It's a private counseling and private tutoring, if you will, private guidance. So if you're serious about it and you struggle and so forth, then you probably shouldn't take it. If you are determined to do it, then it's possible as well. Okay, not only for left-home people, for lay people as well. But it's one of the hardest rules of morality in Buddhism, and it's ingenious, if you will. You understand why. Once you get to the fruit of extinction, nirvana here, you understand why you want to do that precept. Jewel Conk.
네, 한국어 유튜브 채널에 올라온 질문입니다. 박순희님, 선망 조상의 천도가 잘 되기를 바라는 마음으로 기도하는 것이 소원의 원력이 될 수 있는지요?
If I pray for my ancestor for getting rebirths, is it also one of my vow? Can I make a vow that my ancestor get reborn better place?
Yes, you can. No, of course. Every good wish, every well-intention you produce is beneficial for yourself and for your beneficiaries. However, it's also a matter of dosage. If you treat a disease, the doctor needs to prescribe the proper dosage in order to eradicate the disease. Your well intentions is good, but it may not be enough to help your ancestors and help the people you're trying to help. So it's a good thing. While it's a good thing, you have to be practical as well. While it's a good thing, meaning that down the road in the future, they will be able to do that, albeit it's a long, long time. But you need to know your limitations. Okay, and this is why we cultivate. I train my people is in order to give them more strength, increase their ability to help others. Okay, it takes training. Yeah. Goodwill and good intentions are great. It's only a starting point. If you really want to help, for example, even in worldly affairs, you still need to acquire skills, real skills to help others. Yes, you want to heal others, you should go to take some sort of medical training. Similarly, you want to help your ancestors or others to go to good places, you also need to improve your skills as well. All right? All right. So the one thing about, back to slide number 6, one thing about the nirvana, concept of nirvana, where you experience great bliss. It's a wonderful state of being. That's, to me, I feel it's far better than worldly pleasures. You get there, you see what it is, why it's worthwhile to do that. Okay, and the interesting thing here is simply by applying your knowledge from the Vinaya store, you're able to do that. Okay? There's no need to meditate, no need to study sutras, no need to recite the Buddha's name. You can enter nirvana by being pure, by eradicating karmic errors, by eradicating affliction and so forth. You can simply attain nirvana, if you will. It's possible. All right? YouTube question.
From Min, Master, what is the rule for layperson when it comes to gardening? Should we not garden?
Not at all. Lay people should feel free to garden. Gardening, by the way, is one very good form of exercise for you, especially for all kinds of people, especially elderly people, housewives and so forth. Happen to be a very good thing. You're out in the sun, you get a lot of vitamin D, you get exercises, helps your mind concentrate, you increase the value of your property, okay, and so forth, and on, the great benefits. It's wonderful and actually improves your health. I'm for gardening. I wish I could. My garden right now at the temple is so grown with corn. So no room left to plant anything because, corn stalks nowadays. I love corn. But unfortunately, the seeds they choose for growing the corns are not that good. I lived in Minnesota for a while. And in Minnesota, during we grow a lot of corn. And during the harvest, it's fantastic. You go to the field, you go in there, you still feel stalks, and eat it right there. It's nothing like it. It's so good. Eat it raw. It's so sweet. Okay, you bring it back and you steam it. I'm like, oh man, it's so good. The corn here, something happened with California corn. It's weird. But anyway, then Korean corn is even weirder. It's so bland. It's like corn is like rice. Sorry, there goes my Korean corn. Korean corn is beautiful. It has pink, it has purple, it has yellow, it has white, and all those things. It's very, very cute looking. When you bite into it, it's chewy, okay? But it's no flavor whatsoever. And my beloved Korean disciples give me, Master, would you like some corn? I say, yeah. I love some corn. Because it's so sincere. But now I admit to you, Korean corn is weird. It's just like the corn here at Gold Forest is weird. Anyway, it's a good thing they're not here. They are doing dumplings right now for tomorrow at lunch. Oh, you're porting over? The next room? Oh, I didn't see them. Oh my God. I take it all back. YouTube, go ahead.
Trin had a comment on yesterday's video. What is the cause of depression?
The cause of depression?
I just marked the time for other people's reference when Master talk about that. That's why I left a comment.
Left a comment about what's the cause of depression?
No, what I did is just I left a comment to with a time mark of when Master start talking about that
Depression.
thing. So
see.
we can do Dharma glimpse or something.
Yeah, we should do Dharma glimpses. I feel that we should have more testimonials and have more stories and more people speak up about it because we have a wealth of information. We have a wealth of experiences from various levels. And I think it's wonderful we can organize it and share it, and maybe in the future organize seminars or something because it's of great interest to many, many people. We invite the doctors, the therapists, the psychologists, and so forth to discuss it. Okay? And for example, Master Xianjie today sent us a text says, will someone take care of my Chan class tonight? I don't want to give my depression. Okay? And we didn't say anything, and all of a sudden he showed up and taught the class. So what happened, Master Xianjie? Could you share us with that? Share that with us. And it's interesting. I said, maybe it's time for me to teach him how to deal with his depression. But I haven't had a chance to do it yet. It was so hot today, let me tell you. San Jose, it's 90 degrees. Okay. I just came from San Francisco, it's 62 degrees. So it's a culture shock. So much suffering. So Master Xianjie, what happened? What happened to you? From 10:30 in the morning until 5 p.m., something happened?
You didn't reply, so I came.
Were you still depressed when you taught them? Did you see any ill effects on them?
No, I was better this afternoon.
So what happened? You abstain from eating lunch, or you stop by McDonald's somewhere, or what? What happened?
No, I did eat lunch before I left.
You ate instant noodles?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. That's not lunch, that's breakfast. So the oatmeal helped with the depression. There you go. You see? Talk to me after. I teach you how to deal with depression. You shouldn't have to worry about it. At least you should, at your level, should be able to suppress at least 60% of it. If you're good, you should be eliminate a lot more than that. But it's good to suffer. It makes us humble. YouTube, go ahead.
From Min, when gardening, there is a chance of killing worms, insects, etc. How do we deal with that?
Recite the Buddha's name. Recite the rebirth mantra. This is what talked to the old abbot here, the old monk here. He does it. I saw him, half an hour will walk around and say, he stands by the guava tree, the corn stalks, and I walk by and said, I'm reciting the rebirth mantra for the guava tree. And you see, Master has 30 new small fruits. I said, I can't wait. Did you recite for the corn stalks too? Did you recite for the corn stalks, Master Old Monk? Did you recite for the corn trees? You did? So it's your fault? It's your mantras now? Can we change the mantras? Can you say any mantra that makes them sweeter?
Chỉ đọc là để cái mình blessing cho nó thôi.
Okay. All right. So, what is interesting to me, because I didn't take that route, like most people, we get training, we put emphasis on Chan, on sutras, on mantras, and so forth. We never put that much emphasis on precepts, but apparently with this precept study and precepts, observing precepts purely, you can enter nirvana. Okay? I feel that for the Dharma ending age, it's probably too much to ask. Even though if those of you who are interested, I would be willing to help you, show you what to do. But in the Dharma ending age, you probably are better off doing Chan, doing Pure Land, and so forth, because it's more useful for your disciples, for your followers, for your family, for your friends. The precepts here, Vinaya store here, primarily I would say for left-form people. Okay. Any questions or comments? Yes. Number black.
Dạ thưa thầy.
Black.
Hòa thượng Tuyên Hóa đã dạy rằng
Black.
dạy là chết đói không hóa duyên, chết rét không cầu duyên, và cùng khổ thì không phan duyên. Thì đó có phải là giới luật hay là một cái pháp tu? A Di Đà Phật, con xin nói lại. Hòa thượng Tuyên Hóa đã dạy rằng chết đói thì không có được hóa duyên, chết rét không được cầu duyên, và cùng khổ thì không có được phan duyên. Đó là giới luật hay là pháp tu nhẫn nhục, thưa thầy?
Master Xuyên-Hoa taught that even if you die from hunger, you will not hóa duyên. Sorry, I don't know what is hóa duyên.
Beg for food.
You will not beg for food. So, and then even if you are die from cold, you will not seeking. And then if you or die from cùng khổ. If you are poor, so poor dies from poor, and then you will not claim on condition. So does this one, he teach us about precept, or is this one the Dharma door of patience?
All the above. It's not exactly precepts, because precepts is much more precise, much more detailed. When we studied Vinaya store, the Buddha expounded extensively on the Vinaya store, and that's recorded in our Su Fen Lu, the 4 parts Vinaya. Okay, and it's very detailed explanation of all the precepts and rules and regulations in Buddhism. And so that we know how to avoid karmic errors, okay? And because we avoid karmic errors, then we'll be able to obtain the fruit of extinction. We have no karmic errors, then it will make us even less afflicted, okay? And actually, if we recognize our affliction, we understand the karmic errors, we can eradicate karmic afflictions, and we can eradicate afflictions pretty easily. And that's how we attain the fruit of nirvana. So it's extremely detailed. It's beautiful. If you study the Silfen Lu, it is beautiful in how the Buddha taught it, how ingenious it is. It shows our tendencies as men, what kind of errors we make, women, what kind of errors women make. I find it so fascinating, so, intellectually stimulating. Okay, so it's a lot more than just the 3 principles that Master YongHua talked about. The principles are an expedient, are like the guidelines for us to the general broad guidelines for us to follow, but they are not at the level of severity or purity as the Vinaya instructions. Okay, however, the beautiful thing about Master YongHua's 3 principles is that those are the passageway to enlightenment. This is so ingenious. This is so beautiful. If you follow that path, you stay within the confines of the 3 principles, you get the nirvana very, very quickly. And it's appropriate for our times. Because for our times, when he brought Mahayana to the U.S., he couldn't have time to explain the Vinaya, because back then in China, the people would spend the first 5 years learning Vinaya. They were not allowed. Monks and nuns are not allowed to meditate. They had to study Vinaya first. They had to work first. Couldn't meditate. Were not allowed to meditate. Okay. So after 5 years, then they learn about sutras, they learn about meditation, and so forth. But the first 5 years, you are not allowed. You definitely need to work. You definitely need it to study Vinaya. That's it. So they have the proper foundation. It's beautiful, okay? And because of that, many of them in China became great Chan masters, great sutra masters, great Dharma masters, great secret school masters, and so forth. It's pre-learned master because of that solid foundation. Okay, they produce tremendous talents. However, nowadays in the 21st century, we cannot afford to do that. We don't have people who are patient enough. If I teach Vinaya in a Vinaya class, I assure you, no one will probably show up at all. You say, masters, even like Danielle Goforth, she says, the sex precepts, that's not, too difficult for me. And I give you details on how even more difficult it really is. And how on earth are you going to come? Would you be interested? And so in the Dharma ending age, if we teach precepts most monks and nuns cannot follow, okay, and it's frustrating, and the environment, the condition is so difficult, okay. I remember I was a Long Beach monastery, and we were using it, that monastery up down south, right by the ocean. It's used to be a convent. It's a big monastery. And Master YongHua used it to train his young novices. There were about 12, 14 young novices that we were training. So the so-called the future of the DRBA, if you will. So he was training them, and I happened to be there to assist, to sort of like the what do you call that? The caretaker, the nanny. Huh? I was too stupid, incompetent. So all I could do is make sure that watch that and make sure they recite the 42 hands and eyes, and they go to attend ceremonies and so forth. That's about it. That's all I could do. And so we were training our kids, our young novices, on the full schedule. We get up at 5 and go to bed at around 8, 10 o'clock at night. It's for children. It's pretty impressive. And we taught them things, but we never really trained them about the Vinaya. Okay? It's not possible to teach children about Vinaya. Okay? Plus, the people in charge there didn't understand Vinaya anyway. But I remember, because it's in Long Beach, there were a lot of lay people. They come occasionally, especially the monk there used to lecture on the Avatamsaka Sutra on Friday night, so lots of Vietnamese. He has a lot of Vietnamese followers, and some Chinese people. So they came and listened to it. But I remember one day we were very happy. We were happy together. There's this small enclave where we practiced together. We isolated from the real world. We didn't have to worry about money. Didn't have to worry about donations and so forth. We were well taken care of, and we really isolated between the four walls, if you will. Very safe. Okay, but. That monk wanted to make sure that we're available to others, because his dream was to build a real temple and so forth, and cross and save a lot of people. So he allowed people to come when they can. I remember our neighbor next door is a small house right there, next to the monastery. Tiny house, right on a piece of tiny land right there, because it's right by the channel, by the water, by the ocean. So it's a tiny piece of property. And he brought his girlfriend over, the Caucasian. The girlfriend was having lunch with us, and she liked us. And they're very comfortable. So she came, and it was a hot day like today. And she wore a low-cut dress. Okay, and looking back, I find it funny. Because all the adults like us was looking everywhere but not her, okay? We look away, okay? For sure, she sat there, we had lunch together, so we sit a little bit higher than her, and we all are facing outside, you can see her, but the monks are all, but anywhere but her direction, okay? But I couldn't do that, because I had to keep an eye on my boys. So I had to follow what my boys were doing. So I had to follow the boy. Oh! It's so shocking, because the boys didn't know what to do with it. Never to face it before. Anyway, so you see the difficulties in trying to teach Vinaya in nowadays, because it's really impractical. What do you do? How can I explain to them? Hey, don't look. And later, most of them return to lay life. All of them, actually. That's how well we train them. Scary. I'm the only one left. I was the only novice left in that program, mind you. JMT.
마스터, 그 카운슬리, 그러니까 내담자 카운슬리에게 심리 검사, 그러니까 사이코멘트리를 해보면 디프레션 디스오더 환자에게 숨겨진 분노가 크게 나타났는데 우울증인데 그 밑에 숨겨진 분노가 큰 이유가 무엇인지 질문드립니다. 교수님한테 해야 되는 질문인데 마스터께 하게 됐네요. 네, 감사합니다.
If we do some tests, psychologist test, and when they have a depression disorder, behind it there is a anger issue. So I'm wondering why they have anger behind the depression.
Depression is not anger. You're wrong. Your anger is from your manic side. It's not from your depression. Okay, depression is you withdraw and you give up. You don't engage. You disengage. You don't get angry. You just give up. You don't make the effort anymore. You don't feel it's worth it. Anger, because it's worth it, that's why you get angry. So it's you're referring to your manic side, okay? When you're manic, you're bipolar, usually depression is accompanied by manic side as well. That's why it's bipolar. It's very commonplace. Here in California, Hollywood, we have a lot of bipolar celebrities, and they don't know what to do with it. But the anger is from the bipolar side, because you're judgmental. Bipolar, the manic side, they are very judgmental. So they said they don't disapprove of others when they're wrong. So, and they get angry. So that's a different kind of a problem that you need to learn to cope with. You too.
Several questions. Go first, Daniel. I would be super interested. I want to understand it better so that I can learn to meet the standard. Can you please tell Master I said that? From Cordelia. I would be interested to learn the section.
Wait. Okay, let me give the answer to Daniel right away before I forget. Okay, you want to learn more about the precepts, I would tell you a tip. Create more blessings. It takes a lot of blessings before you can do precepts. That's a Buddhist secret. There's no point. This is why when the Chinese, when they trained the monks, they used to force them. You used to tell them, work. And then the first 5 years you work and you study precepts. It's for that reason. Unless you produce a lot of blessings, you will not be able to learn and execute precepts. That's a Chinese secret. They didn't explain to us in America, which is a shame. So Master Xinhua, to finish the answer to the question earlier, Master Xinhua's teaching of the three principles is this special alleyway. Okay, it's narrow. Okay, the precept is as wide as the ocean. It's fun, but you don't have enough time, and people don't have the patience nor the blessings to study precepts. So what Master Xinhua did, he taught the three principles. Okay, the three principles is an alleyway, you will. You do the alleyway, whether you're a lay person or a left-form person, it brings you to nirvana a lot quicker than otherwise. It's ingenious. So it's not about patience, it's an alleyway, a shortcut for you. It's beautiful. And that's why, but it's a lot more than that. It's just those are guidelines, and so also there are more requirements for that to happen. And the proof being that when Master Hsuan was alive, he taught that. Many of his disciples made it. But after he died, the second patriarch, I don't know what happened to him, but he's around, and he's in the system, and now no one's enlightened anymore. So that tells you there's a lot more going on than you realize. Master Hsuan did more than just the 3 principles. But the 3 principles are the description of the alleyway. You take that, and you have other conditions, you make it very quickly. Whereas the other temples, the other sanghas, like the Sunnims and so forth, they don't have such alleyways. They don't have such conditions. That's why it takes them a lot longer. Okay? That's what happened. You too.
From Cordelia, I would be interested to learn the sexual precepts too if it means I have to get married.
Does it mean she has to get married?
Even if it means I have to get married.
Hallelujah. Okay? I would not worry about it. It's remember, we have to take the clues of Master YongHua. Okay? Follow the 3 principles. That's a lot faster than the other stuff. Okay? Don't worry about it. Don't. You should look around. In our environment, our temples, many people made it with the conditions, with all the Dharma we provided, similar to Master YongHua. Okay, so it's possible. You don't need to invent new things. You don't need to try things differently. Just follow along. Follow the instructions. Okay. Continue.
From Diego, is the Vinaya class something that can come in the near future at the temple?
Vinaya get what in the future?
Vinaya class. Is it something that can come in the near future at the temple?
Vinaya class coming to the future in the temple? Oh, okay, yeah, this is Colombian English. I don't have time for it. I could teach, but I'm not interested because for the reason that there's so much work to be done. Vinaya is meant for me, I look at Vinaya as to complement the Mahayana and Master YongHua brought to this country. And I think it's wonderful, it's great, but I don't have time to do that. And I don't think that if I spend time to do that, it would be productive because the people I train would not be very useful. What we need right now for Mahayana is people with skills to work, to help others. Vinaya will not be able to help a lot of people at all. It's for yourself, okay? And after Vinaya, the foundation of Vinaya, then you can learn about Chan, learn about Pure Land and so forth. What we do here at our organization, unlike Master YongHua's in many ways, is that we combine all 3 together, okay, to speed up the process. So that the idea here is to bring you to enlightenment quickly and then let you choose what to do with your life, your career. You can choose to go back and study Vinaya, I can assist you, or you can choose to specialize in Tantric, you can choose to specialize in Pure Land, you choose to specialize in speaking Dharma, you choose to specialize in teaching Chan and so forth. It's up to you. We will support you to do those things. But the main idea here is that, here's my thinking, and this has always been of interest to me. My interest is to bring you up very quickly and that you explore wherever you want to explore. Because what happens is, if you, until you reach enlightenment, whatever you explore, okay, will not be at the proper depth that you need to have to be, to strengthen the foundation of Mahayana. So that's why it's very important for us. And I see that's what Master YongHua did in my generation, for my generation. Bring us up there very quickly and let us explore, choose what we want to do. Okay? And so his disciples, some of his disciples, they, whatever they did, they bow, they meditated, they worked and so forth, and they translated sutras and so forth. They did all those various things, and to get up there, okay, and then they choose to specialize more, follow the interest. So my interest is different. My interest is to train you to get up there, even more of you to get up there more quickly than his style, okay? And then invest in you. If you're up there, and if you want to have enough manpower, you choose to specialize in certain things, I will be glad to support you. Make sure you have enough, you have nothing to worry about except follow your interests. To become a great Dharma master, to become a great Vinaya master, to become a great Pure Land master, whatever, it's all possible. Okay, we need to invest in you, just like your parents invested in you. In order for you to be a contributing member of society, we need to do the same thing for our left home people. Okay, so I don't think that I will teach Vinaya classes. I don't have time for that. I don't have much time left. I have 10, 20 years, 30 years left. And that should be spent on training people to get them enlightened. So that, and continue to support them. And then we have Pure Land work to do to help people get to the Pure Land and so forth. It's just not enough time to study and teach Vinaya. Next.
From Diego, Master, how can we help others at our level?
I don't know. Each person is different. You do the best you can. Okay, you figure it out. Okay, and those are the things that you figure out yourself. We have plenty of tools. We have plenty of the environment. There are plenty of people who are much higher level than you. Ask them. Look around. Okay, those are the questions that you can figure out yourself. It's not the kind of things that you should ask me. Okay. Next. Kong, go ahead.
네, 단톡방 올라온 광원님 질문입니다. 법망경 같은 계율 등이 언급되는 수트라 혹은 제가자에게 허용된 율장을 독송을 해도 계율을 지게 하는 힘이 될 수 있을까요?
There is a sutra that includes the precept. If we recite this kind of sutra, then can I keep the precept better?
One more time, please.
There are some sutra include the precept. So if I recite the kind of sutra, then can I keep the precept better?
Yes and no. I don't know which sutras we include precepts because precepts, the details of precepts are in the Vinaya. It's not in sutras. Sutras are sutras. They're not for precepts. Precepts are detailed teachings on the the how to keep precepts, what are the exceptions, and so forth, and how to recover once you break precepts and so forth. And so it's not in sutras, it's in the Vinaya. Your keeping precepts is important, but again, it requires a lot of blessings, okay? Tremendous level of blessings. The more blessings you have, the easier it is for you to keep precepts, the more purely you can keep precepts, okay? So it's never enough blessings. But again, for me at this stage, I'm more interested in helping people get up there quickly, and not worry about details yet. Okay, because remember, if what Master Shihua did for his disciples, I feel it's not a good idea of an idea. He said, you guys should specialize in sutras and so forth. You pick a sutra, you specialize, you start to study. I have no interest in doing that. I feel you should. It's premature for you to study sutras right now because you're stupid. I don't know how else to put it. Stupid people who study sutras will be stupid. Stupid people do stupid things, including studying sutras. Does it make sense to you? When you're stupid, everything you do is stupid. Maybe I shouldn't talk like that. Okay? So my interest is different from his style, is that my interest is bring you to open your wisdom first. Then once you have wisdom, everything you do is pretty wise. So that means that whatever sutra, whatever understanding you have underneath, at low levels, you say, oh, that's what's stupid of me, to spend so much time studying it. And then boning up on and reading up so many patriarchs teaching and so forth, I understood them all wrong. And that's what happened to me. I ended up spending years throwing out all kinds of garbage because of his instructions. Study sutras. And I said, and I spent 3 years dumping all my sutra knowledge because it's all garbage. 3 years cost me. So that's why I'm sparing you. You don't have to make the same mistake like he and his disciples make. Go up there quickly, and then when you go up there, when you have the wisdom, then whatever you study will be absorbed very quickly, and you waste less time studying crap, understanding crap. Okay, anything else? Yes, I'm opinionated, and you should know by now. Yes, green.
Master, I have 2 questions. Oh, by the way, I guess tonight we're not special, we're stupid again, which is kind of nice. So the first question is that for the lay people, what is the some examples of the second principle, like don't beg, 不化缘, and then second question is how does are the 3 principles another way of explaining the 6 principles, or the 6 principles are extension, or how those 2 relate to each other? That's it.
Okay. The 3 principles, again, are the alleyway. You observe the 3 principles. Not climbing on conditions, not begging when your life is at stake. When you need to cultivate, you don't beg. If you can't cultivate anymore, so be it. Okay? You don't seek. Okay? When you're able to cultivate, You said, well, now I'm here. Maybe I should have a bigger temple. Maybe I should have more disciples. Maybe I should have more money, and so forth. And that's seeking. Okay, that's the alley that he provided for us. It's ingenious, again. It's beautiful. And it's a tremendous gift he gave to America, to the United States. I don't think he taught that in China. Am I wrong? You Chinese people, check it out. I don't think he taught that in China at all. He laid out that alleyway in America. Okay, so that's the starting point. You do that first. Okay, and then the 6 principles are aids, if you will, that designed for you to further refine your. You chose to go this alleyway, okay? And if you keep the 6 principles, it's easier for you to stay within the alleyway, if you will. Okay, so you keep the 6 principles, then you're able to stay within the range easier. Okay, for all practical purposes, you look at the alleyway first, the 3 things. You don't violate those 3 things. Then furthermore, you refine yourself by looking at the 6 principles. Okay. For example, in the 6th principle, one principle is do not lie. Okay. Do not lie there is not a precept at all. Actually, the lying there is not meant to be a precept. His disciple would say, it's a precept of not lying. Not at all. Okay, it's a tip. A tip that says that if you lie, you will not become enlightened. You cannot cultivate. That's what none of his disciples understands. If you lie, forget it. You're not going to become enlightened. Master says, are you angry? He said, no, I'm not angry. Guess what? Guess what? Fail again. You resented? No, I'm pure. Are you angry? Okay? You shoot yourself in the foot every time you lie. That's a gift, he says. But you see, he never explained to his disciples that way. That's why I watched my peers, his disciple at my generation. They said, now he's gone. Who's going to know if I lie? You shoot yourself in the foot. I don't need to worry about you. You do it to yourself. Okay, so it's a tip. Those are the insider tips for you. Okay, it's hard to differentiate the 2, the 3 principles, 6 principles. Those are confusing, to say the least. However, for your reference, 3 principles are the major guidelines, are the foundation. Okay, and the 6 principles are a little bit one level a bit higher, but also it's laid on top of the 3 principles, if you will. Okay, the 3 principles are the broader strokes, broader foundation, and the 6th principle a little bit higher, next layer up, if you will. Okay, give you more details. Anything else?
Also ask another question.
Yes.
About the Huayuan, the begging one for lay person. What is how does that work for lay people?
Huayuan here is in the context of cultivation. So in the way he taught it, he says, as a cultivator, you need food to eat. That's all you need really to cultivate, to eat. to have some food to eat. That's it. Food and drink. That's all we need to cultivate. No need for clothing. No need for shelter. No need for medicine. Okay, but we need food to have the energy to recite mantras, to recite Buddha's name, to meditate, and so forth. Okay, so even when you are cultivating, you devote your life to cultivation, or when you cultivate and you're hungry, okay, you don't beg. You don't beg for help, because your rationale then would be, I need food in order for me to cultivate. Okay, without food I can't cultivate. He says, even when you cultivate, it's no excuse. You don't ask for help. You don't beg for help. So that's what happened in our Weiyang lineage. Master Wei Shan, he went to the mountain as per Bai Chang's, his teacher's instruction. And he sat down, he meditated. He said, I'm going to die of starvation, so be it. Okay? And what happened is, in his case, the monkeys, and then for some reason the monkeys were encouraged to bring him some fruits, to offer fruits for him. So Master Wei Shan would eat the fruits and would eat the water that the monkeys brought to him. And that's it. So he typified the 二十不化缘. He typified that when you're hungry, you don't beg for food. Master XunHua is another example. I don't know what happened with Yang Shan. He never had to worry about that, I guess. But Master XunHua, when he was observing filial piety by his mother's grave, he also applied the 二十不化缘 as well. So you see, it's from our lineage, if you will. Our forebears showed us the way already, and that's how they got there very quickly. Wei Shan became a great man because of that alleyway. Master XunHua became very advanced by himself because of the alleyway. Okay, that's our trade secret, if you will. And that's right there in front of everyone's eyes, and no one understands. It's our secret, trade secret, including my generation. They don't understand it's a trade secret. So they said, now we have money, now we have disciples, now we have food, so it's no longer an issue. It's not that. It's still our alleyway. It's not dependent on money, it's not dependent on the disciples, it's not dependent on temples. It's the same alleyway for all of us. Yes?
A Di Đà Phật. Dạ thưa con cũng là được làm chứng nhân cho một vị sư mà bây giờ đã là một vị thầy rất là cao cả của chúng ta. Trong hơn 10 năm về trước đó thì thầy gặp một cái nạn rất là lớn, cho nên là không có ai đến cúng dường mà lại còn bị oan ức, như là một cái trận bão nó nổ làm tung hết cái ngôi chùa. Mà con thấy thầy không có bao giờ kêu ca, không bao giờ giải oan, và cũng không có nhờ ai giúp đỡ. Có gì thì ăn nấy, rồi thậm chí là nói rằng có bữa là lấy ốc miêu hay bột ra nấu để mà còn ở chùa còn lại có 3 vị thì để 3 người cùng ăn. Thì trải qua những cái giai đoạn mà nó rất là khổ sở như vậy, mà thầy nhờ ba cái tông chỉ của Hòa Thượng mà mới là được cái ngày hôm nay và tất cả chúng con đều kính phục.
Master, I personally witnessed there's a case that I saw that you are really a great man, because 10 years ago you undergo a major event, and then nobody make offering to you, they slander you, and then it's kind of like the temple go through the tornado, and then it break the whole temple. And Master were so strong, you didn't you didn't like explain yourself, you didn't complain, you didn't ask for help, and then you just live with whatever you have you eat. And then I remember you say like there was only 3 people left at the temple, and then you don't have anything to eat, and you just eat oatmeal. So I saw that you observed the 3 principles, and because of that, so that lead to whatever we have today. And then really admire and respect you.
Well, thank you. Actually, it's revealing experience, because when you're in trouble and you don't ask for help, that's when you see who really cares and who and so forth. And so it's I learned a lot from that stuff. It's because not because I really follow his 3 principles, it's because I was lazy. I was too lazy to explain to people. I was too lazy to teach people. So I was hoping all of you would leave so that I can go to the mountain. That's my dream. My dream cultivations, go to the mountain. It doesn't look like I can do it this lifetime. Too busy. But at the time, all the things happened. The only thing that hurt was that my own mother was doing it to me. Not because of Master YongHua or his disciples. That doesn't bother me. It's not the first time. But it's my own mother that really hurt. So it took me 3 years to recover from that and got rid of my attachment to my mother. So now she dies, I look in front of my eyes, I have no feeling whatsoever. I'm done. Okay. Some attachment is very, very hard. Even after you become a monk, deep down in your heart, you say, my mother is number 1 woman in the world. I never could find anyone who I love or adore more than my own mother. So, and one day I realized it's an attachment, pretty serious attachment. I'm so proud of it. I said, my God, after this, all this, my mother is still number 1. Isn't that nice? And then one day I realized, wow, it's an attachment. I still have 1 attachment left. And that thing happened, and it hurt a lot. That's what really hurt. During the day, I can smile at you and I go to work. But at night, when you sit there and you meditate, that's when all reality, the thing you can ignore during the day because you're busy, are no longer there. So you meditate and you're faced with yourself. And that thing came out and say, oh my God, this hurts so much that your own mother can do it to you. And the second thing that hurt was that she's a disciple of Master YongHua. So he let it happen. So, but it didn't hurt as much. I accepted the fact that whatever he did, I don't question it. But it took 3 years to be able to rise above it. Really, for 3 years, every time I thought about it at night, during meditation, it hurt like hell. Hurt a lot. So in a way, I'm grateful it happened. And so at the same time, every night I had to fight with that, so it's getting better and better. And during the day, I became meaner and meaner, more angry, so that more people would leave. I was an angry monk. But there's some crazy people. They love to be yelled at. They love to be abused. There's something wrong with them. So they stuck around, so I couldn't get rid of them. Quite a few of them left. And went to better places, like Master YongHua's temples and disciples. But those who stuck behind, Let me see who's stuck behind. Wow. And so those who survived that test, they all have some significant attainments. Looking back, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, so no, but personally, I have to be truthful to you. I was hoping that people would leave me alone, and then I can abandon the temple and go to the mountain. Say, I followed my master's instruction. He said, go teach. I said, I want to teach. And you and your own disciples stopped me from teaching. I was waiting for that final thing. He says, you and your disciples stopped me. It's not my fault that people don't come to me anymore. So I'm sorry, it's not as lofty or as as my teacher. I just was hoping to leave. That's all. Okay, 6 more minutes. Anyone else would like to gossip? Yes, Orange.
Thank you, Master. Another perspective on that might be that he and his disciples couldn't stop you from teaching, for which I am eternally grateful for your teaching and guidance. So thank you for persevering.
Thank you. It's actually, I wasn't persevering. I was simply surviving and waiting for an opportunity to leave. And then while I was waiting to leave, the Buddha relics came to the temple and stayed there. I said, I'm a bad monk, so the relics cannot stay here very long. This is great. And more and more relics came. 10,000 came, and then 1 million, and so forth. And then more and more keep coming. So ultimately, it's not my doing. It's the Buddha who said, I'm here. Are you going to ignore me? I did ignore the Buddha relics for 3 years. I said, I'm Mahayana. I don't do relics. I taught someone else to go into my temple to do relics for me. Because I'm Mahayana. We don't do relics, okay? We don't do relics. So after 3 years, I said, one day I thought, wait a minute. The Buddha's been here at my temple, my tiny temple, for 3 years, and no one offered to take it away from, take all the relics off my hands. I was hoping that Master Shuang disciples or the big temples and so forth, any temple would come to me. Let me tell you the truth. Any temple, big temple, better than my Lu Mountain temple, which is practically any other temple. Okay, Lu Mountain temple, is 2 houses next to each other. Doesn't even look like a temple. And so I was telling myself, I'm waiting for any decent temple to come over and make a proposal and said, you have these relics, then being underserved, this is a shame for the Buddha's relics. We'll take it off your hands. I said, yes, please. I was waiting for that. No one came. And after 3 years, I thought, doesn't look like he's going anywhere. So I better do something. I better start working. Yes, Orange.
And I'm very grateful that the relics came to you, Master. That's how I found you and the Sangha. And just from one white person's humble perspective, you were the first person I ever saw tell an assembly or a group of people what total and complete idiots they were to their face. And when I hear, and just to let you know, that's probably the most compassionate feedback I'd ever received. Because in this day and age, everyone will tell you you're special and you're shiny.
But you are. Very.
And I'd be hard-pressed to find someone who would disagree with you, Master, that I'm special. But when you point out my stupidity and you point out when I'm being an idiot, I benefit from that. So I really appreciate you doing that, and look forward to you keep doing that in the future.
Wei Mao.
Master, so when during the meditation at night, what did you do to pull through all of those pain that actually you have to face them?
Well, I meditated, but the thought of, your own mother is trying to kill you, destroy your career, destroy everything you've done. Okay, your own mother is also going against your own master, and your own master is not doing anything about it. Okay, and so those are thoughts that really bothered me for years. So no matter what I did, whether I meditated, recited mantras, recited Buddha's name, recited sutras and so forth, those thoughts kept on coming. And I said, okay. And when such thought arose, I felt very bad. It really hurt. Hurt more than anything ever did in my entire life. I got divorced. I didn't feel as bad as being harmed by my own mother. That's the worst pain I ever experienced in my entire life. And so the pain is there. When the thought came, the pain came with the thought. Okay, and you just endure it. You say, what else can you do? You continue to meditate. That's all. Nothing else you can do. Just life. Just endure it. That's part of the Chan training. Whatever discomfort, whatever pain, whatever difficulties, just endure it. They will be resolved eventually. You don't quit, you don't give up, they'll be resolved. Hopefully before you die. No guarantee in life. All right, time is up. Thank you, everyone. Next time we go into number 8.